respected spiritual bodies on the stage, off the stage. It's my great privilege and honor to be here in the holy city of Varanasi and experience the vibrations of this holy land. I'm grateful to SMS for giving me this opportunity. Let me share a little experience of mine when I took over as a director of IIM Ranchi. When I first addressed the students, I told them, don't be aggressive, but be humble. Now, there was a lot of murmuring because typically the students of IIMs or IITs, they all actually value their knowledge, they value their intellect, and they are there because they are aggressive. They are able to compete. Now, here is a man who comes from nowhere and says, don't be aggressive, be humble. Now, there was a lot of murmuring. By then I uttered my next word. I said, actually, don't have greed and don't actually shed your gambling instincts. But rather actually, think in terms of very different kind of a model of life. Now, the students were again upset. Who is this man who is saying, actually, don't be greedy, don't go after money? Now, some of the students agreed. Some of them said, okay, we have seen 3 Idiots movie. So maybe he's telling us to follow our passion. So there was some amount of actually, convergence, but still students were a little unhappy. The third actually statement I made was, do not compete. Do not compare. Have a harmonious coexistence. Now, this time there was a lot of commotion in the crowd. Imagine IIM students who have been filtered and selected through a very rigorous process, and they were actually students with 99.6 percentile in the CAT, and you're going to tell them, be humble, don't go after money, don't compete, don't compare. There was a problem. And finally when I said, don't have actually goal orientation, don't have goals, but actually have role orientation. Just do it for the sake of actually performing the task. I said, we are all visitors here. We have been assigned a role. I have a role as a director of IIM Ranchi. I'll perform it. IIM Ranchi doesn't belong to me. Now, at this point of time, most of the students said, actually, welcome to Ranchi, the city of actually mental asylums. Here is another man who's really gone mad. This is what they said. Now, initially, it was not easy because, I am telling something and then the teachers are teaching something else. We can't blame the students. On the one side, I say that actually, be humble, do not compete, do not compare. There's another teacher in actually HR, Human Resources Management course. He says, actually, if you want to go up in the organizational hierarchy, you have to backstab your colleagues and walk over their dead bodies. Now, this is what somebody is teaching in a course. And this side I'm saying, don't compete, don't compare. So there's a conflict. On the other end, actually we are teaching them competitive advantage. How do I destroy competition and then gain advantage over them? This is again a problem. So there is a need for an alternate paradigm. That's what actually, this conference is all about. I think we should compliment Professor P.N. Singh for taking this, such a big task on his shoulder. Now I have another man actually who is ready for Ranchi, that asylums, right? So we are all talking very different things. The moment you talk different things, people say actually there's something wrong with you. But imagine, slowly things are falling in place. For example, simple things. Be humble. I used to tell them, look at Mahatma Gandhi, look at Vivekananda, look at, Narayan Murthy. How is it that they are great leaders? The humility. Now, slowly it is seeping in. For example, I don't shout at my employees. Now, this is a rule that nobody else can shout at anybody. No student can actually, even in the classroom, when you are in a case discussion, I made it clear that you cannot say that I don't agree with you. You have to say that I have a different point of view. Now, initially it was difficult for them. Slowly it is sinking in. One of the faculty members, who used to shout at students, the moment actually somebody makes a mistake, he will say that, come on, get out, I'm going to throw you out of the class. And I told him, you can't talk like this to a student. You can't even talk like this to your own children. You can't talk like this to your wife. Now he used to laugh at me. How can you control an institute if you cannot really shout at people? Now after 6 months he comes back and tells me, sir, my family life has improved. Because I stopped shouting at my wife. Now our relationship is becoming better. We don't shout at each other. There is a harmonious relationship. Students are so free to talk to anybody. And there is a change. It's not easy. Now when I say do not compare, it's not easy for students to actually get rid of that. It's very, very difficult. From our childhood we are told. Parents do that. You look at that as, I am the manager, and actually look at the peon's son. He is doing better than you. Look at the attender's daughter. She is doing better than you. I am giving you all of these things. What are you doing? Don't we shout at our children? Can't we accept children as they are? Is comparison the only way? Can't we get out of comparison? No, it's a very difficult thing. So actually, I don't want marks to be distributed to the students. So we are gradually moving towards that. No comparison, no marks. You only actually rise up to certain levels. Then you are actually ready to graduate. Similarly, the role orientation, it's not easy. But then there is gradually acceptance is coming. It's a very, very big kind of a challenge that we all face. Slowly, for example, students are now saying, for example, the certain things, they have understood now. Leadership in IIM Ranchi is only 3 things. Humility, honesty, hard work. Nothing else. Now, this is slowly gaining acceptance. So we need alternate models. But at the same time, do we throw away the entire Western models? No. There are analytical models. I have absolutely no problem. I am willing to accept the, excellent EOQ. EOQ is not going to change. You talk about Brownian motion, you talk about hedging, you talk about this, any of these mathematical models, analytical thinking, all that is fine. But then, is that all management is about? Now, if you want to become a great leader, you think actually your analytical skills will take you there? Then you are only developing one part of your actually, capability. Now that's basically the intellectual part. What about your intuition? Now we have to develop our intuition. Where is the scope for actually that in management? Today, for example, when the tsunami hit the Indian islands and so many human beings died, was there any animal which was killed? Unless you have tied the animal to the near the seashore, otherwise they all were able to sense it and then run away. How is it that actually they had the intuition and we didn't have that? We have actually killed that. Allow your intuition to develop. It's not only your intellect, but it is your intuition which has to be developed. Now the entire Western models are only looking at the intuition. Intellect is important. There are times you have to allow your actually, infinity to act upon you. Now you are driving on the road. You are the best driver, excellent controls. You have learned driving very well. But then there is a rogue driver who comes and hits you. Who is responsible? Alright, actually, everything is fine, but then, there is an earthquake or there is some tree falls on you, you die. So that's a divine will. Accept the divine will, that's the infinity. So intellect, intuition and infinity are all very important. Now these are the kind of thinking, holistic thinking. Now if you actually think that, if you know few models, if you know few actually mathematical formulas, you think you are great? Not really. Greatness comes when you actually allow the holistic thing to develop. So that's the kind of alternate paradigms one is looking at it. And I am not very spiritual, in front of the kind of people who have done, phenomenal work. You have excellent speakers. So that's why, when I was invited here, I said, this is a great opportunity. I am nobody in the presence of these scholars. I am here to learn. I am ready to actually, look at new ideas, imbibe new views. Now, remember one thing. If we don't do it now, the Harvard universities and the universities in the West, they will come, learn from here, go back and sell you the textbooks here. We will still be saying, Harvard is great, India is nothing. Let's all actually work towards that. We can create an alternate paradigm and we can show the world what is management. We can show the world actually, how to lead the entire universe. And that is the kind of a day which is not very far off if we can put our heads together and work towards that. I'm grateful to SMS for this opportunity. Thank you very much and good luck to you for the entire conference. Thank you.